Welcome back, everyone, to OpenLine. We are talking with Amanda and Tom Dyer. They are behind a documentary called Unseen: How We're Failing Parent Caregivers, people who care for disabled children. We have some calls. I want to go back to that, and then we're going to put up where you can see this. But let's go to Marcia. Is that right? Marcia, hello?
Hey.
Hi, go right ahead, Marcia.
Hi, yeah, I have to tell you, this is a great topic, and boy, I would have loved to know where this was about 5 or 6 years ago. Our son is basically what they used to call Asperger's, has autism. High school was a horrendous experience for him. He would be what I call an unseen disability, because a lot of people, they knew there was something not quite right about him, but they didn't want to. Some teachers wouldn't call it anything. He was diagnosed with being on the autistic spectrum, but the thing is, the students pounced on it and treated him horrible, and he was convinced to try to kill himself his junior year of high school because he was too stupid for this. I mean, literally, too stupid to be in a particular class. You don't belong here. We don't want you, no matter how talented you are. They would say he was quote unquote retarded, which really, really bothered me and his father and other people. It just got to, and it finally just mounted and mounted and mounted until he attempted to commit suicide.
Oh my goodness.
Metro Nashville Public Schools never took any responsibility. Well, in fact, they told me they weren't going to do anything to one of the children because they were the salutatorian, and that they would make something of themselves, and my child probably would not. Is basically what we were told. Yeah, and so I guess my question is, what is the school's responsibility? Of course, and the good news is he did not succeed. He went on to college. MTSU was a much better place for him. I gotta give a shout out there. They followed his IEP. They honored it, and he graduated with a degree.
That's great.
And yes, it's awesome because I know so many students with autism, they don't always make it. And then my next question, we've had a little bit of problem with voc rehab. He has a college degree and he wants to work and he loves to work and he's got a nice job. He's employed. But we're having a thing where voc rehab is basically saying, he shouldn't be forced to work. He could collect SSI. Well, he doesn't want to collect SSI. He wants to work and use his college degree.
Well, that's great. Okay, let's talk about all of that. There's so much there. I'm so sorry you went through that, but thank you for sharing what you've shared here. She's asking the responsibility of the schools, and then wants to work later. This sounds like someone who's not as disabled as who you were profiling, certainly in this movie, but a disabled person. Quickly, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I just
here?
think the common thread here is that caregivers, regardless of what severity of disability they might have, there's just so many things you're dealing with constantly, whether it's IEPs, getting the school to provide accommodations that are needed, or dealing with programs through, government, or whatever those things are. There's just so many things. It's so complicated to navigate. We hear that over and over, that trying to figure out what you qualify for or don't qualify for, what the rules are, how to access it, what hoops you have to jump through. It's just always so complicated that on top of everything else, there's those hoops as well. So I think that's kind of my takeaway from that, is it's a challenge, and unfortunately that's the case. We hope that what we're hoping for is that things can be simpler and more streamlined, so that that's one less thing that's kind of added to the plate of a caregiver.
And maybe if people are more aware and we talk about it more, those things come along. Okay, I want to show where this is going to air. And is air the right word? It's because screen.
Screen,
This is a film. This isn't a TV show.
The premiere,
Yeah, so the Unseen premiere, Sunday, September 25th. What is all this now?
Yeah, so we are doing a screening here in the Nashville area at Brentwood Baptist Church in partnership with their Embrace Ministry. That will be on Sunday, September 25th at 4 p.m. And there's also a virtual component to that if you can't make it in person, so still check that out. If you go to caregiverdoc.com/Nashville, you can get all the details details about that. We're also going to have a filmmaker Q&A, and we also have some representatives from a few different local organizations that you can ask questions to or hear their input.
So they'll be asking you questions.
Yeah, we'll be available for questions.
And then we'll talk about this other thing when we come back. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be back right after this.